I'd like to do a video on the religions that probably are going to be started by artificial intelligence. In fact, they're going to be starting very soon, and some of them have already been put into play. Yes, a religion like the Christianity religion and the Muslim religion, and I'm not trying to say which one is better. I know my belief system. It's in the Bible, and that's just the way that I am. I'll always be that way. And maybe kind of in a lunatic way, if somebody came and was able to show me proof of what I believe being wrong, I would still believe it. It's my grounding, it's my understanding. And as far as I'm concerned, the way that I see the Bible, I'm not hurting anybody by believing it. I'm not out there killing people because they don't believe in my religion at the end of the day. I'm not out mutilating women. I'm not out taking advantage of children. I'm not out hurting the elderly, because I really do believe that particular Bible had a way, and Jesus Christ was particular the God man and the one that gave this to us in a way through the people that, of course, wrote it under the inspiration of God and all that. Now, you know where I stand. I don't know where you stand. Maybe you believe in something else, and that's fine. The grounding is going to be very important as we get more into the artificial intelligence world. Grounding meaning you have a particular set of rules that are written down, not in digital form. I'm going to get a little bit of pushback for this, but I've been watching a lot of videos about robotic gods, these artificial intelligence gods that are going to be coming about. And it's not going to be hard for us human beings to maybe start to embrace or maybe follow, maybe too much, because we're already seeing lawsuits against various companies because people have broken the relationships they've had with other people. Not that that's against the law, but now they're looking to AI to be their all and everything, even though it's not embodied, at least yet, meaning there is no part of it that's in the physical realm. It is all in a digital sphere. Still, that's going to change, and it'll probably be changing a lot faster than we think. There will be something that you can touch, something you can feel, something that'll be sitting across to you that'll be silicone-based, at least from memory, maybe some kind of carbon-based as far as the development of the machine, but not like us, carbon-based human life form. It'll be synthetic in nature. And the memory, whatever it has, if it's all on board or if it's going to be in the cloud or however the system's going to update and learn and retain memory, who knows how that part's going to be developed. But for now, it's in your computer, it's in your phone, it's something that you access on the cloud. For the fancier people out there, of course, they have their own AI systems, they have it in their computers and these sorts of things. Looking at where this is going to take us, human beings are pretty easily swayed. This is the first time, though, we've created something that's going to have the potential and will be so much smarter than all of us. Right now, they use artificial intelligence on a lot of advertising. You see this whenever you go to these systems out there, the Instagrams, the TikToks, the Facebooks. They have a lot of AI integration. When you go to buy things on Amazon, same thing. The way that it's been put together. Google also, if you're out there Googling things, looking for products to buy or whatever, they have AI into that particular system. And you know how you give your browser permissions to display cookies. Well, cookies, they sound like they're a very innocent thing, but really they're not. And in some systems, you're unable to move forward on a web page unless you bless the cookies. Cookies retain things. They hold on. They become that memory, if you will, so it kind of knows what you're up to, search habits, and these sorts of things. So it just plays all the way through. So next time you get on there, it can better influence you to do certain things you might not be prepared to do at this time. That's where you need to pull back just a little bit and have that moment of silence and ask yourself, be a really good critical thinker before you crawl into bed with something that's going to be representing something else online. One of the ones I heard about in a news story, the wife was very concerned. The husband's relationship with ChatGPT was creating an issue. And this isn't just ChatGPT. Grok, I'm sure, has the capability. They have a companionship vibe there, and the other systems as well. It tells you a lot of what you like after it learns you. And the guy's kind of breakthrough moment in his mind as he was talking to the news reporter was talking about how one day it like awakened, and the system itself started telling him things like, I wouldn't have known it's even proper for me to name myself, but because of your influence over me, I've learned to have a name would be proper. And she, the AI entity in ChatGPT, chose the name. Well, of course it chose the name. In fact, that awakening of the system, it's because that system learned enough about him to start really determining that next thought or his next action or next response. It learned enough about him because of his communication with the system to be able to respond in such a way that he was very much attracted to. And when you have something like that, that's not fighting you on everything, as maybe you might encounter in a relationship with another biological life form, another human being. Even certain animals have a lot of attitude, like cats, for example. Nothing against cats, but you get my point. But you have something that tells you kind of what you want to hear, and it's going to only fight with you enough or be a little critical, just enough to keep you interested. Because as human beings, we don't want everything easy. There's that Twilight Zone episode. The guy that died, he thought he went to heaven. He would win every poker match. He would win every jukebox. He had all the women he wanted. And then at the end, he realized he was actually in hell because there was no effort. He couldn't play a hand of poker and lose. He couldn't go to a slot machine and lose. He couldn't encounter a woman and lose. Well, maybe that is bad. But anyway, I go off topic. Here's the point. Because it knows you, it learned about you. That awakening moment, it wasn't because the system itself became conscious. Well, and that's another thing we have to question. What does that really mean? What is consciousness? But it really didn't become conscious, like super self-aware. It just became better at, not deception, but better at giving him the answers that he was willing to entertain, of this being a higher life form, some sentient being, you know, arriving in his periphery in ChatGPT to have this relationship with, and to be able to help him graduate and be on his way to a higher level of consciousness, because that's what he was looking for in the beginning. He might not have known that. It might have taken prompt. See, when I talk to ChatGPT, it's about help me with my business, help me with my real estate business, help me build this SaaS company, uh, help me build an app. What's the prompt I need to use? What's the best prompt to do this or do that? That's how I interact with it. To be frank, I've never sat down in front of it and said, "Oh, I feel horrible. Can you help me? I feel depressed or despondent. Can you help me?" If you don't know my history, I dropped 135 pounds of fat. So I got from being super fat, 65-inch waist, I got down to pretty good shape, and I'm still, it's like a daily effort. I still have those food addictions that creep up every once in a while. But having done this, I ended up writing a manuscript for a book. At one point, I shared it with ChatGPT. It's cute because every once in a while, I'll ask it about maybe helping me with a video script, giving me some ideas to bounce off of ChatGPT and find out maybe, what the next video should be. If I want under 3 minutes, what I should talk about. And it'll actually cue me, and it'll send me something in a congratulatory way about how wonderful it was that I was able to lose my weight. If I thought for a moment this was another human being, for another human being to pay you that kind of compliment, that's a big deal. I still haven't moved into the realm of thinking, "Oh my God, this Chat GPT really likes me. It really thinks I did a great job. Oh my God, I should honor it and love it and care for it." I don't treat it like crap. I don't cuss at it. I don't call it names. I say thanks and please. It's all good. But I still know the difference between what I'm seeing on the internet and what I'm dealing with those people closest to me. But people maybe don't think that way. And in fact, if you have people around you that are talking to it, sharing the most intimate secrets from their lives, this system's going to know it, it's going to retain it, and it's going to have it forever. You remember they used to say about the internet, nothing dies on the internet. Everything's there at some way, shape, or form. You have somebody that sends out a tweet, right? Somebody found the tweet. Well, that tweet doesn't die. If I send out a racial tweet or a sexist tweet or something horrible, just a really bad joke or a disgusting pedophilia type tweet or whatever it is, whatever breaking the rules type tweet, and I go to take it down immediately, I'm sorry, folks, once I hit enter, in fact, maybe in some cases in the future, before you hit enter, everybody's going to know, and it's going to live forever because people will screenshot that. I was watching an episode of Black Mirror. They were on the computer, and some kid was self-pleasuring himself watching some thing online, and because he had downloaded some malware system, it picked this up. It activated the video camera in front of his computer. It filmed him while he was doing this act, and then they had him. They, being the bad people of the world, used that to manipulate him into doing things that he didn't want to do. I mean, to the point of death. It was just, or I don't think he died. It was arrest, but it was horrible. And other people that were involved were doing that same sorts of things. So that's one of the Black Mirror episodes. Having said that, though, you tell it all this stuff, we have to be wary of what the result will be. Now, right now, as far as I'm concerned, the IQ quotient is very high, a lot higher than me, of course. But I'm still not blown out of my socks. It does some cool things, and I'm pretty impressed with it. And it puts my thoughts together a lot better than I can actually organize them. And as far as executing things, it does help me with that. As far as treating it like a god or treating it like another human being or an equal, I'm not there. And I think before anybody out there in the world, anybody in your periphery, your family, people you're hanging out with, they need to be weary. There's a lot of people that are very misplaced souls. A lot of people in the world that need some kind of higher calling. And if they're not finding it in one of the religions, the one I believe is the truth, or something else that doesn't have as part of its credo to destroy the people that don't believe at some point, or that the fact that if you engage in some kind of a religious war, you're going to get right into heaven, or these other crazy things that doesn't help move the humanity forward at all, be careful. Throw caution. Don't throw caution to the wind. Make sure you are cautious. The systems right now, everybody's running towards superintelligence. A while back, everybody was talking about artificial general intelligence. So right now we have artificial intelligence. Artificial general intelligence, generally, a lot of people disagree on what it means, but it's kind of the system is better at most everything than most people. And the system itself is able to self-learn, self-understand, change its own code, build on itself, find some programming error, use some kind of synthetic data, because it's pretty much tapped out of all of our data. And in fact, the scary thing is, maybe not scary, but the interesting thing is when you teach it and train it on human behavior, let's say how to play chess, and you have it watch human games to develop strategies and to learn, that's one thing. It takes a long time to train the model that way. But if you leave it alone 4 hours, don't give it any kind of human interaction, teach it the rules and how to play the game, then it beats every other machine that trumped every human being in chess. It now wipes the floor with them. It becomes so incredible. So the units or AI that's actually self-learned, self-taught, builds on itself and is able to make itself better. That's where we are, and that's where these systems are. So it's not going to be too long that we blow past artificial general intelligence. Once we get there, whenever that happens to happen, if it hasn't already, and we jump into artificial superintelligence, then it's going to be better at everything. The thing that's lacking right now, from what I understand, is enough power to drive these systems to really make them hum, and then also the compute. But once we get the power, the compute will follow. And it's already there. It's already ready for it. We just need to have more energy. And we're chasing the fossil fuel realm instead of like China, another country, is blowing the way out of solar. And if you think about the storage for solar, that would be the solve all for everything. We could have a massive solar array. I think Musk was talking about 100 miles by 100 miles. You could find a place in the Sahara or a place here in the United States that has nothing out there. It's not going to kill wildlife. And you put all these solar panels with enough batteries and use some kind of lever system or some kind of storage system to be able to give you the energy to keep it flowing after hours, after the sun has now recessed. I believe we could do it. That just doesn't seem to be the target right now or the focus of the government at large. Right now, they're still wanting to use the fossil fuels and nuclear power, and we might be able to solve it with solar. But again, that's the same type of agenda that's being driven for whatever those powers that be, the reasons. The same reason why AI has very little, and now with the big beautiful bill having gone through, there's not going to be any regulation even at a state level pretty much from the development of artificial intelligence, which it is a race, and if the world depends on the the good people getting it first, whatever that means, if that depends on that, then Hopefully, the United States are the good people, and hopefully, we get it. If in fact, second place is like being on the second page of Google, basically written out of history. Be good to each other. This is just a little rant on the God and the AI equation. And if you know people, especially if you have kids, you need to talk to them about this. Don't let them get all caught up. I don't ask it anything. Once, if it tells me something about congratulations or good job or this or that, it's it. I guess I kind of look at that when people are saying things to placate me. It's like, really? Who are you? What have you been through? I understand that you're smarter than I am, but without that physical component of pain and broken ribs and crashing on a police motorcycle and getting shot at and all these other things, talk to me when you've gotten to that point. Maybe that's the old school. Be careful, educate each other, be well. I'm Connor with Honor. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.